You know that feeling when something's wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on it? That's what the people on Somerton Beach felt on December 1st, 1948. It was late afternoon, summer in Adelaide, Australia. The kind of day where the heat hangs heavy and people scatter along the coastline trying to catch whatever breeze rolls off the ocean. Families packing up their things, kids dragging their feet through the sand, that golden hour light that makes everything look like a memory. And there's this man sitting against the seawall. He's wearing a suit, full suit, brown, well-tailored, polished shoes, white shirt, tie done up properly, which is already odd because it's hot, you understand, beach hot, the kind of heat where you'd strip down to almost nothing if you could. But this man is dressed like he's going somewhere important. His legs are crossed, one arm draped across the seawall, head tilted back slightly, resting against the concrete, eyes closed. People walk past him, some glance over. He looks like he's sleeping, or drunk maybe. There's always someone sleeping it off at the beach, right? So they leave him alone, give him his space, let the poor bastard sleep it off. But here's the thing, as the afternoon stretches into evening, as the families pack up and leave, as the sun starts its slow descent toward the horizon, the man doesn't move. Not once. Same position, same peaceful expression on his face. A couple walks by around 7:30. They notice him, comment to each other about how he's been there for hours. They keep walking. But something nags at them. You ever get that feeling? Like your brain is trying to tell you something, but you're not quite listening? They circle back. The woman approaches. She's nervous now. She reaches out, touches his shoulder gently. "Sir? Excuse me, sir." Nothing. She shakes him a little harder. His head lolls to the side, but his body doesn't respond. She presses her fingers to his neck, looking for a pulse. That's when she knows. That's when the wrongness becomes real. He's been dead for hours, just sitting there, while people walked past him, while children played in the sand 50 feet away, while the whole world went about its business. This man was already gone. The body. When the police arrive, they're expecting something straightforward. Tragic, sure, but straightforward. Heart attack, maybe? Heat exhaustion? These things happen. But as they examine the body, that feeling, that wrongness, it starts creeping in for them too. The man looks to be in his mid-40s. Fit. Muscular build, actually. His hands are clean, well manicured. His face is peaceful. No signs of distress. No grimace of pain. He could be sleeping except for the fact that he's stone cold. They check his pockets. This is routine. You find a wallet, you find an ID, you notify the family. Case closed, paperwork filed. But there's no wallet. Okay, maybe it was stolen. Happens all the time. They keep looking. There's a railway ticket, unused. Adelaide to Henley Beach. A bus ticket. An American-made aluminum comb. A pack of juicy fruit chewing gum. Half a pack of Army Club cigarettes. And that's it. No money, no identification, no keys, no papers, nothing with a name on it. The lead detective stands there looking down at this well-dressed corpse, and he's thinking, who goes to the beach in a full suit with no wallet, no money, no ID? Who does that? They take the body to the morgue. Time for the autopsy. This will answer things, they think. The body always tells a story. Dr. John Barclay Bennett performs the examination. He's methodical, experienced. He's seen everything. But even he's puzzled from the start. External examination shows nothing. No wounds, no bruises, no marks of violence. The man's organs, though, that's where things get strange. His spleen is massive, swollen to 3 times its normal size. His liver shows acute congestion. There's blood in his stomach, blood in his brain, pooled in strange places. His pupils are unusually small and unequal in size. Dr. Bennett takes samples, sends them to the lab, runs every test he knows. The results come back. Nothing. No common poisons. No alcohol to speak of. No drugs. Nothing that should kill a healthy man in his 40s. but the man is definitely dead. And the organs don't lie. Something killed him. Something fast-acting and incredibly toxic. Something that left almost no trace. Dr. Bennett writes in his report, "I am quite convinced the death could not have been natural. The pharynx was congested, and the gullet showed congestion with reddening. The stomach showed signs of blood congestion. These are the signs of a poisoning, but I cannot say what poison. Poisoned by a ghost, essentially. Killed by something that shouldn't exist." The detective looks at this report and feels that wrongness again, growing stronger now. While they're waiting on the toxicology, investigators examine the man's clothing more carefully. This is when things take their first real turn into the bizarre. Someone notices the labels are gone. All of them. Not just missing, removed. Cut out with precision. The shirt label, snipped away clean. The jacket label, gone. The pants, the undershirt, everything. Someone took scissors or a razor blade and carefully removed every single tag that might identify where these clothes came from. Think about that for a second. Think about the deliberateness of it. You don't accidentally remove every label from your clothing. You don't casually do that. This takes time. This takes intention. Why would someone do that? Why would you do that? The only reason that makes sense, you don't want to be identified. But here's what's maddening. They miss some. In the waistband of the trousers, there are 3 faint markings stenciled in orange. Keen, T-Keen, and Barber waxed. Manufacturer marks or maybe dry cleaning marks. Police chase these down. They contact every tailor, every dry cleaner, every clothier in Adelaide. Then across Australia, then internationally. Nothing. Dead ends everywhere. Whoever this man was, he was careful. Incredibly careful. But not quite perfect. And that's when they find the secret pocket. The paper. One of the investigators is going through the clothing one more time, being thorough. He's checking the fob pocket of the trousers. That little pocket within a pocket that nobody really uses anymore. His fingers brush against something. There's another pocket. Hidden. Sewn into the waistband with such care that you'd never notice it unless you were really looking. He works it open carefully. Inside is a small piece of paper, rolled up tight. He unrolls it. The paper is thick, expensive feeling, and printed on it, in an ornate typeface, are 2 words, Tamám Shud. The investigator stares at it. He doesn't recognize the language, doesn't know what it means. But he knows, somehow, that this is important. This tiny scrap of paper, hidden in a secret pocket, inside a dead man's trousers on a beach in Adelaide. This means something. They bring in a professor from the university. He takes one look and his eyes widen. "It's Persian," he says. "It means ended or finished. It's the final phrase from the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam." Now, if you don't know the Rubaiyat, you need to understand something. In 1948, this wasn't some obscure text. This was one of the most popular books in the English-speaking world. It's a collection of Persian poetry from the 12th century, translated by Edward Fitzgerald in the 1800s. It's about mortality, fate, the fleeting nature of life. Every educated person would have known it. The final quatrain goes, "Indeed, the idols I have loved so long have done my credit in this world much wrong, have drowned my glory in a shallow cup, and sold my reputation for a song. Tamám Shud." The end. It is finished. So this dead man, this unidentified body on the beach, carried the final words of a poem about death and fate hidden in a secret pocket. The investigators look at each other. Nobody says it out loud, but they're all thinking the same thing. This wasn't an accident. This was planned. But planned by who? And why? The book police make a public appeal. They publish photographs of the paper scrap in newspapers. They ask, does anyone recognize this? Does anyone have a copy of the Rubaiyat that's missing its final page? Weeks go by. Nothing. Then, in late July 1949, 8 months after the body was found, A man walks into a police station. He's nervous, reluctant. He tells them he found a copy of the Rubaiyat in his car back in November, around the time the body was discovered. He'd thrown it in his glove box and forgotten about it, but now, seeing the news, he thinks maybe it's connected. The police examine the book. It's a specific translation, the Whitcomb and Toombs edition. And sure enough, the final page has been torn out, not carefully removed, torn, roughly. They match the paper. The typeface lines up perfectly. The torn edge matches. This is the book. This is where the scrap came from. But that opens more questions than it answers. How did this book end up in a stranger's car? The man swears he didn't know the deceased, had never seen him. The car had been parked near Somerton Beach, unlocked. Someone must have placed it there. But why? Why leave the book but keep the final page with the body? Then they notice something else. On the back cover of the book, barely visible, there are faint pencil markings. 5 lines of letters, seemingly random, like code. WRG OAB ABD MLIAO IWTBIM PANET PMLIAB OAIAQCITTMT SAMSTGAB. And beneath that, a phone number. A local Adelaide phone number. The investigators sit there staring at these letters. They bring in code breakers, military intelligence, cryptography experts. No one can crack it. To this day, nobody's cracked it. But the phone number that they can trace. The nurse. The phone number belongs to a woman. Let's call her Justin, though that's not her real name. She's a nurse, lives in the suburb of Glenelg, not far from Somerton Beach. Police knock on her door. When they show her the photograph of the dead man, witnesses say her reaction is immediate and visceral. She looks like she might faint, goes pale, has to steady herself against the doorframe. But then she collects herself, shakes her head. "I don't know him," she says. The police press. "Are you sure? Your reaction suggests, I've never seen this man before in my life." They show her the book, ask if she recognizes it. She admits she owned a copy of the Rubaiyat. She'd given it to a man she knew during the war, an officer, but that was years ago. She doesn't remember his name. The police don't believe her. Everything about her body language screams recognition, fear even, but she won't budge from her story. They ask about the code. Does it mean anything to her? "Nothing," she says. They leave, but they're convinced she knows more than she's telling. Years later, her daughter will say that her mother knew exactly who the Somerton Man was, that she'd carry the secret to her grave, that whenever the case came up on television, her mother would leave the room, visibly distressed. But she never told, not ever. The mystery deepens. So where are we now? We have a body poisoned by something untraceable. We have clothing with labels carefully removed. We have a secret pocket containing the final words of a famous poem about death. We have a book with an unbreakable code and a phone number belonging to a woman who clearly recognizes the dead man but refuses to admit it. And we have no idea who this person is. Police circulate fingerprints internationally. Nothing. They publish photographs in papers across Australia, England, Europe, America. Nobody claims him. They check dental records, military records, missing persons databases. Nothing matches. It's as if this man never existed. Or more accurately, as if someone went to extraordinary lengths to erase any proof that he did. The theories start piling up. Spy, obviously. This was 1948. The Cold War was just beginning. Australia was strategic. The coded message, the removed labels, the untraceable poison, it all fits. But which side? Soviet? British? American? Or maybe it was a love affair gone wrong. The woman Justin, perhaps she was involved with him. Perhaps there was jealousy, betrayal. The romantic poetry takes on darker implications. Or maybe he was running from something, Or someone. Maybe he erased his own identity, took that poison himself, chose that beach deliberately. A man who wanted to end his story on his own terms. Nobody knows. DNA solves nothing. And here's where it gets really strange. In 2022, 74 years later, they finally identified him using DNA and genealogy databases. His name was Charles Webb, born in Melbourne in 1905, electrical engineer, married once, separated, had a daughter he apparently never saw again. Mystery solved, right? Except it solved nothing. Charles Webb's life doesn't explain any of this. Why was he on that beach? Why was he poisoned? What's the code? How did he know Justin? Why did she react that way? The identification just gave us a name, but a name without answers is just another mystery wearing a different face. And that, in the end, is what makes the Somerton Man unforgettable. It's not the death itself. It's how every answer we find only reveals how many questions we're still missing. Somewhere, somehow, there's a truth to all of this. A real story, a reason, but it's been finished. Tamám Shud.